Hello, welcome to Somerset News Network. Farmers did an absolutely brilliant job yesterday. It's all over the press this morning, which is just what they wanted. Now, I'm not going to say the government's going to listen. They've got a big majority and they're dogmatic. They ain't going to give in easy. Got to have to keep the pressure up. But I'm thinking, you know, the British are easygoing. We get on with things. We get on with our lives. We don't want to fuss with anybody. But when we see tyranny, and we've had enough of it, we get together and we rebel. It's happened throughout history. In 1215, the barons met King John at Runnymede, which gave us the Magna Carta. We had the common law rights, but that started to write the common law down in Acts of Parliament. Then in 1297, Edward III was having problems, and he did some reforms which reaffirmed the Magna Carta, and he brought in other rights and liberties as well. Once again, because the nobles stood up against the king. We've always got to a stage where we've had enough. This has got to stop. We're getting to that stage very quickly now. I can see that it's like Wat Tyler and the king protested. Tried to go across London, he met the king. Unfortunately, that didn't end well. But we stood up for our rights. There was, in 1640, we had the Civil War and Cromwell fighting Charles I because of the tyranny. And that produced the New Model Army. But that didn't solve the problem. England became a Commonwealth, but it didn't solve the problem. So what happened is James II took power, and he turned the country into a Catholic kingdom. He wouldn't let the Protestants hold any office. He disarmed the Protestants. The barons and the nobles invited the Prince of Orange and Mary, who was the son of James II, over in 1688. They landed in Devon and marched to London along what is now the 303. By the time they got to London, James II has disappeared. They then had a Declaration of Rights. It was a glorious revolution. Not a shot was fired. It then produced the Bill of Rights, the Act of Settlement that says the laws of England are the birthright of the people. And then in 1839, the people of Wales and the southwest couldn't afford the tolls to go and buy grain to reseed for the next season. So you had what was called the Rebecca riots, and that was from 1839 to 1843 because of the toll road tax. We're now paying toll road taxes to get into town. It's called the congestion charge. It's a poll tax. But nobody's woken up yet. Oh, it's to make the world green. And we all know that's a load of... Sorry, can't say it. Was going to, it's almost there. We know it's a lie. Now, once you've got the English all riled up and you've got tyranny And we have tyranny today. This Labour Party is acting like the divine right of kings. They think they can do what they like without sort of consulting the people. They have to realise they've got to manage for the people, even if the people didn't vote for them. But they're in power, they've got loads of MPs, they've got a majority, and they think they've got the divine right of kings. What they say is what it is. With James II, we had the problems with John Locke was supporting us. He was over with the Prince of Orange and Mary in Holland. He was in exile, but he was a very clever man. John Locke has sort of like been written out of history. Now John Locke, he lives about 2 or 3 villages away from here. He was born in Rington, in Somerset. And there was a plaque up. But, you see, they moved it. And instead of being up on the side of the road, it's now in the churchyard. And you've got to go round the churchyard to find it. Also buried in the churchyard, in the same place, is Hannah More, the teacher who fought against slavery. She actually lived 150 yards the other side of the church to me, in a little cottage next to the old school, which is now Knelsey Town Council. That's where she lived. She was a letter writer, and she fought against slavery. So we stand up and we like to be counted. Before the Glorious Revolution of 1688, which put William and Mary as joint monarchs on the throne, we had the Monmouth Rebellion in 1683. Now that was the Somerset West Country people down on Sedgemoor in Somerset, on the Somerset levels. They had a battle there and we lost, unfortunately. Monmouth forces, and the people disappeared. They ran. That's where we got Judge Jeffreys, the hanging judge. He done the Exeter Assizes and the Bristol Assizes. They chased the people that were on the rebellion down. They got them into court in Exeter, and they said, if you plead guilty, Judge Jeffreys will be lenient. So the first one went up and he said guilty, and it was hang them, and all the rest were guilty, and they hung the lot of them. That's why he was the hanging judge. I went through those stories when I was a kid. My grandfather used to tell me when we were planting potatoes. He said that one of the rebellion army people came up and was held up in the Tickenham church. Now I don't know how true this is, but this is the story that I heard. And the king's forces came. There's a dent in the front door of the church, a big oak door, that's the size of a musket ball. So the story may be true, but once again, it's the British people having it. That was the Monmouth Rebellion was called the Pitchfork Rebellion because it was the countrymen. And what have we got today? We've got the countrymen, the farmers. This is a modern day Pitchfork Rebellion. It might be with tractors and 4x4s and Range Rovers and Land Rovers, but it is a modern day Pitchfork Rebellion, and it's not going to go away. Like I said, you could only push a British person so far, and then he stands up and he's counted. And this is the time we've got today. The Labour Party is turning into a dictatorship. It's turning into a police state. Look at the way the police, since the election, are handling people on social media. People that have done Facebook posts, Twitter posts, Instagram, even YouTubers. I've had police at my door for a still one-line little comment on Facebook, which led to a 4-month police investigation. In the end, it was no further action. Well, there wasn't going to be. It's the intimidation. It's to stop you talking about the tyranny. And I'm convinced yesterday is the start of the modern day Pitchfork Rebellion. And I support the farmers, I support the YouTubers, I support the people on social media that have been put in prison for what we now know was telling the truth. When it went to court, they lied. And I hope they can appeal and get out and maybe sue the police for wrongful arrest. Anyway, that's my little chat for today. And there will be more. I'm sure of it.